Okay, welcome to Language Studies. Today I'm Language Studies Man, and we're going to have a beginning lesson again, the second lesson. It's going to be talking about soft and hard sounds. So let's get into it. So let's talk about vowels first because they'll be the easiest to explain. You either have hard or soft vowels. And let's go into the hard ones. The hard ones are a, o, u, y, and a. The soft ones are ya, ye, yo, and you. And I forgot one, but we'll get into that later. But you can see that the hard sounds here, they don't really have this y sound in the beginning. They don't have this ya, like they don't have a yeah. So there's just going to be a and o, u, and a. While as the soft ones, you're going to have this y sound in the beginning, so be kind of like a little bit softer, right? Not really softer, but it's more, it feels softer in the back of your throat, I think. So you have ya, ye, yo, and you. And after a while, you'll get into the habit of thinking of them as hard and soft, even though right now it probably sounds a little bit strange to talk about hard and soft sounds. But then you also have this e sound, and this is also soft as opposed to the e here, right? You have e, and so we can put these in pairs. We can have a and ya, a and ye, u and e, o and yo, u and you. Okay, so just think of them as pairs. So there are 10 vowels. There are 5 hard vowels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 soft vowels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they each have their companion. Yeah, they're good. There's one hard and one soft, and they love each other, I guess. Maybe. Okay, so let's go into consonants real quick. And consonants are a little bit harder to explain because you can't just say, oh, it's got this Y sound at the beginning. We're going to have to go a little bit deeper into it, I think. So most can be either hard and soft. I'm going to show you an example. It depends a lot of the times it depends a lot of times on what vowel comes after it. So whether it's a hard vowel or a soft vowel. So we have this one right here, tongue. It means the tank in Russian. T-a. Hear the ta. There's no tia. Okay, it depends on this vowel, the a. Whereas tian has 2 soft t's. It's got one here and one here because of the soft sign, but we'll get into the soft sign later. And we'll just talk about tia. Right? You hear that the ya is after this t, so it makes the t soft. So let me say tia, not a ta, a tia. And so if you were going to try and take away the ah sounds from both of both of these pairs of letters, then you would have ta, right, and t. And it's kind of weird to think of it like this at first. I think it's kind of weird for native English speakers to think of in general to have 2 different consonants, one hard and one soft. Is very strange. But the sooner you get used to this is the better. So you have a t and a t. Okay, so ta and tia. So just think of it as taking off the ah in both these cases, and what do you have left? You have a t and a t. If you can hear that. Some are mostly hard all the time. Well, some are always hard all the time. There are a few exceptions, and they have to do with a lot of foreign words. But most of them are always hard. So these 3 letters right here, zhe and s. And so these ones are always going to be hard, or is going to have hard sounds after them, even though we'll get into that later. But some are always going to have, or it's going to have soft signs. No matter what is written after it, it's always going to be pronounced softly. And that would be sha, che, and this one right here, this ikrakoya, this Y sound. It's kind of the equivalent of an English Y. It's in between a vowel and a consonant. That's how I would categorize it. Not as a vowel, not as a consonant. It's sort of in between. Like the English Y is sometimes in between. Sometimes it acts like a vowel. Sometimes it acts like a consonant. But this one is even more complicated, I think. But we'll talk about that in the next slide right now. So we're going to talk about the soft sign, the hard sign, and the karakoya. The other way to make consonants hard or soft is through these signs. And whereas before is automatic, it depends. It just it depended on the vowel that comes after it. This is the same way. So the soft sign, right? It always comes after a consonant, and so it makes the consonants that come after it it makes them soft. Remember how we talked about ta and tia? Same thing. And it's used actually quite often, and you might not be able to hear it in conversation, or you might not even be able to hear it at all. And this is the tricky part about learning any language, is learning the different phonemes and the different sounds of the foreign language, because in English we're used to hearing sounds in our brain that are a certain way. We're used to hearing like ah. Russians, if they're learning English for the first time, they might not even hear the ah. They might think it's an eh. Whereas we will not be able to hear soft sign, and even after you get really proficient in Russian, you're not going to notice it too much. I mean, it's not going to be something that's you're going to notice a lot, I don't think. You will notice it, but not as much as a Russian notices it. Anyway, it's used quite often. So this T is hard because it has no soft sign after it, but this T soft sign is soft because of that soft sign after it. So if we take the same example, it's going to be a ta and a t. It's almost kind of like doing a ty, kind of that kind of thing. But you're going to want to keep the tongue with the soft T. You're going to want to keep the tongue at the front of your mouth, up near your teeth, and kind of shove it forward as you make a T. Or another trick is to smile when you do a T, and kind of force that tongue forward near the top of the teeth. And this T is going to be hard. And you can even make it even more hard by, of course, putting the tongue as far back in your mouth as possible. But it's kind of overkill. And then you have the heart sign, which is not really used very much. It's a very unused letter. And so it does the same thing. Consonants that come before it are hard. And the trick with doing this one is actually a lot easier than the soft sign, even though it's not used as much, which is sort of a bummer, I think. But all you have to do is maybe wait a couple of seconds. Right? Well, not a couple of seconds, that would be too long, but wait I don't know, 10 milliseconds or something. I don't know the timing. But if you want to see this B is soft because it's got a ya after it. Whereas this B right here is hard because it's got the hard sign after it. Then it's got the ya. So this B is hard even though it's got a ya after it, and this B is soft but just because of the soft letter. So this one would be abya, and this one would be like abya. And so this one is going to be more fluid, and this is going to have sort of a break. And that's the whole secret to it. Really what you're trying to do is separate it so that these two letters, right, the B and the ya, are sort of disconnected. When you're talking normally, the letters, right, all the sounds, they kind of become mixed together in any language. And so with a soft sound, this B and this ya are kind of like they're strung together. And so what you want to do is separate it. So this B just is a B, and this ya is just a ya, and they're not coming together to make so that this ya isn't making the B soft. So it'd be like if we're going to have, go back to the T example, this would be very rare, but you have the T, and then you would have like a hard sign, and then you would have, let me change this color real quick. If I can change this color, I don't know what's happening. There we go. Okay, so if you're going to have this T and the ya, right? Our last example, tia. if we wanted to keep this T and a ya, but we want to make the T hard, we would just do a T. We would have the hard sign and the ya, and we would have, all you would have to do is go t ya, not tia. Okay. Let me erase this. I don't think you need this anymore. Hope that makes sense. And the krakoya, or short I, is used with vowels, and you can technically like have an ikrakoya before a vowel and make it like a ikrakoya and an a, and it'd be like ya, right? Ya, but you have a certain letter for that, right? It's ya. Yeah, we don't need to write this all the time. There are some words that have ikrakoyas in it without making the letter soft. One of the words is rayon, and it's and then a, and then ikrakoya, and o, and then n. And if you write this ikrakoya and o, could be a yo, and it would be the same thing, rayon, basically the same thing. But because this is, I don't know, it's just like an exception. Usually, if these are together, they're not written like this. It's written like this, or a yo, right? A yo. It wouldn't be written ikrakoya at full. So you don't really see it very much. It's more often used with before a vowel, and what it does is the same thing that a Y does in English. If I want to say I, matey, I say A Y. I'm a pirate. It's pirate day. And so you pick A Y. Same kind of thing. So let's go over these sounds real quick. You have I, yai, e, yay, a, yoy, oi, ui, and yoy. Okay, does that make sense? And so this is all I wanted to go over today, is hard and soft. It's something that you should get used to, because a lot of the endings on words are going to depend, like a lot of endings for grammar and the cases, which we will go into cases later, will depend on whether or not the ending is hard or soft. And so you should hopefully get used to this. And just remember that most of the time, it depends on the vowel. But a lot of times there is the soft sign that's used a lot, and very rarely is a hard sign used, but you will see it. And so just get used to all that. And a good trick into learning hard and soft, to try and train yourself, is to do the same things with consonants, except for the consonants that are always hard and always soft. Too far. Do it with consonants. Take any consonant, and a good consonant I would think would be like L. Take an L and you go la, 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 la. And then take an L and an ah. And go la, 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 la. So ya and la, ya and la. And then try and say it without the ah. So you would like do it like this. This is oversimplification. It's not really like this, right? This is not true. This is not true, but try it like this. E, and then cross out the A, right? And try ya, and then E, and then la, and la. Okay? Any questions? If you do, go ahead and write it in the comments, and maybe I will try and address it later. And go ahead and subscribe if you want to. If you don't want to, just watch my videos and try and learn something. It's just, for me, it helps me learn Russian better if I teach Russian. Plus, I hope it helps you learn Russian, because I want to be a good teacher and help you, because the name of the channel is Studies. Hope you study hard. Okay, that's it. Have a nice day, and love life.